Our next guest is longtime Stratford coach Tammie Christopherson. Tammie, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program for this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And let's talk about your work as Stratford Tiger girls basketball coach. I think maybe a lot of work this year because you lost a lot of very good talent from last year's team. Fill us in at the start of your season, what you've done to prepare for this year.
Yeah, so we graduated 8 seniors and all 5 starters last year. So we did a lot of work on the off season. We have a great group of young girls, and we have a mix from senior all the way to the freshmen playing on this year's varsity team. So there's been a lot of work done in the summer and early this year to get us where we need to be, but we are definitely moving in the right direction.
As I'm sure it has taken its toll on you during the off season to really shift gears the way you have. What's that process been like to plan for a completely new ball club like you have this year?
You know, there's challenge in it, but it's also a fun challenge as well. When you have a team as young and inexperienced as we are, you see growth in the gym every single day. And even now we're entering into that 4th week. Just our improvement from week 1 to week 4 is pretty outstanding. And we have a really, really high ceiling with this team, and I don't even think we're anywhere near close to it. And so that's very exciting as a coach.
All right. Tell us about the players on your ball club this year and some of the key members on your ball club this season.
So we're only returning 2 players that had a great deal of varsity time, and that's both of my seniors this year, Ashley Hollitz and Sailor Kaufman. And then my other starters include Lainey Pankratz, who's a junior, Kayla Casperson, who's a junior as well, and now I'm sitting here and I just blanked out. And my 3rd starter is Kayla. Wait, oh my goodness, this is a great interview. It'll come to me in just a second. But we have a really good mix in terms of like speed and Tria Tubbs, sophomore Tria Tubbs. Sorry, I was trying to think of sophomores there. So sophomore Tria Tubbs. So out of that 5, we just have 2 with extensive varsity experience, and the rest are pretty new. And then we have also at the junior level, we have Kayla Casperson as well, and we have Carly Pankratz as a freshman that's getting big minutes for us. Michaela Stieber is also coming in as a sophomore. Emily Zaleski as a sophomore. We have a pretty good rotation right now of 8-9 kids that are all working hard to get some playing time, and we're still kind of, I don't like to call it rebuilding, I like to call it figuring out. And so we're still figuring some things out right now, but they're responding well to the challenge.
You know, Tammie, some names that you mentioned there as your inexperienced ball players are names that I kind of recognize from other sports, Lainey Pankratz being one, a few others. Does that help to have a young lady who maybe hasn't seen much court time for you, but maybe has done well in softball or volleyball or another sport?
Yeah, you know, these girls all, have a can-do attitude. I said we have softball pitchers, and we have first basemen, and we have cross-country state qualifiers, and we have volleyball shining stars as well. So it is a good mix, and I said they are mentally tough, and they like a challenge, and they're a feisty little group. I think people will underestimate us coming in, but not so much after they get on the court with us. So they're a good group, and they want to do well, and they want to win, and they want to get better.
Well, tell us some areas where you think this team might eventually excel for you.
You know, one thing that we have this year that we have not had a great deal since we graduated Brianna Ackley and Emily Hughes is we have some good size this year. Emily Zilke is sophomore, that's at 6'1", and Tria Tubb comes in 5'10", 5'11". Cassidy Downey is in there as well, and she's a good 5'10" too, so I feel like we have good size. We also have pretty good speed. Like I said, we have some cross-country runners and some quick base runners out there that give us a little more options in terms of playing defense as well. And so all that kind of meshes together, and I feel like we have a great variety of players this year.
Some people might be surprised to hear you say that because you had Lauren Krause last couple of years, who was a fine post player, but if you watched her, she really was undersized. You really did a great job for the size limitation she may have had for you.
Yeah, she played much bigger than she was. Like, that girl could literally guard anyone, and she was an outstanding athlete. And unfortunately, we lost I had one more player that had good experience from last year, and we lost Daisy Yoder the week before the season started, tore ACL, and is and is out. And we had, she had put in incredible work in the off season, and we were really, really excited about her. And unfortunately, for the second year in a row, I lost a big part early. Last year it was early in the season, and this year it was before the season. But the girls have really responded well, and she is there every day and is a great part of the team yet, encouraging everyone. And adversity sometimes before we even got started this year, but they have responded well, and a lot of people have stepped up to help fill that void, because she was an incredible, or is still. It's going to be a year before we get her back, but she's an incredible athlete, and she'll come back strong.
Now, have you and your staff had to sit down and say, okay, we've done some things successfully in the past with this group over here that's gone now. This team does some different things now. Let's redesign some things offensively or defensively for this new crew.
Like I said, when I first started, I said I had to rein myself in after about 3 days, because I said we're going to be doing a whole bunch of things not really well. So we scaled it back down. With this many young players, I would rather do a few things really well and keep adding as the season goes on, because I had to be like, whoa, hold the horses. Like, this is too much, too fast. And a lot of these players have not played varsity basketball until we stepped on the floor a week and a half ago, and the game moves a lot faster. And so we're really focusing on doing a few things really well right now, and then we hope to evolve from there as the year goes on.
Well, let's bring in Larry Hazer for some questions and comments. Larry?
That was just one of the things I was going to ask you. Graduating all 5 starters from last year and now coming back this year, how much pressure does that put on you to get this group ready for the season?
There's always pressure. There's always, the Marywood is not an easy conference. And so I always say there's never any day off. There's never like, oh, well, we can kind of just show up and win. That doesn't happen in the Marywood. And so I said it just hits you night after night. We just played an incredibly talented Poinette team on Monday. We decided to go for a little drive on a Monday down there, and I'll be honest, they're one of the best Division IV teams that we have played, and we play a tough schedule. But we responded. It was a 20-point game, but if you were watching that game, it never felt like that. We actually closed it within 6 in the second half, and they are an incredible mix of outside, inside, and when a team shoots 80-some% from the line and 50-some% overall, and we still hung with them all night. I felt like we grew up a little bit, and I was really excited to see them not back down from that. Like, we gave them a good run and the whole night, and so I know this group can play with anyone. We just have to clean up some of those little things to finish on top in those tight games.
You mentioned the Marywood Conference. How do you see that shaping up this year?
Obviously, we've only played one team in the conference, and that was Marathon. Judging from the scores, I guess Assumption is going to be the front runner right now. And I just saw the first WIS Sports poll come out, and they're rated #1 in the state for D5 right now. That'll be an interesting game. I feel like if you look on paper, we match up with them a little better than some other teams in our conference, but they're going to be tough. Like, that's going to be a tough matchup. You just can't turn the ball over in that press. Real easy, right? That's what I tell them. You just don't turn the ball over. You should be just fine. And then, like, the rest of us, I don't know yet. Like I said, we are all kind of in the same boat. Edgar, Auburndale, us, we all graduated a bulk of our varsity teams last year. And like I said, it's all, we've got a lot of young players, and I don't think any one of us quite have it all figured out yet. So I think there's going to be some very close games.
What do you think is going to be the key for you guys, or keys?
Keys for us is we got to continually get better all the time. And I said, first and foremost, we've got to do the little things right. Those everyday fundamentals. We've got to finish the easy shots. We've got to cut down on some turnovers right now. We've got to run a smooth offense. And like I said, we're working on, like, we can't just go from point A to point B to point C. We have to create and react to what the defense gives us, and we're making strides there. Defensively, if anybody knows anything about me, we're always a sound defensive team. Like, we're pretty scrappy, but our offense has to match our defensive output as well. And if we can do that, like I said, we have a good mix of guards and posts. I think we're going to give a lot of people a challenge this year.
Gene?
I want to ask Tammie about you scheduling Poinette. You do have a relationship there because you played in their tournament at Christmas time, I believe, for a number of years, or Thanksgiving, was it?
Nope, I've never played Poinette. Softball goes down there and plays them every year. But so I've been to the softball field, but I haven't ever actually been in the gym. So we were in the gym
But nonetheless, as you point out, they're a very strong program, well known around the state. So tell us the thought process of wanting to schedule a real strong team like that for your young ball club.
If I'm 100% honest, I didn't know they were that good. We had an opening in our schedule that we were struggling to fill, and they popped up on the WI website that they had refs and an opening when we had an opening. So I was like, back in February, it sounded like a fantastic idea, and it was. It was a great. It's a non-conference game. And they are tough. They have 2 posts over 6 foot tall, and then they have about 4 guards that if they see the light of day will knock down the 3. So once you think you got them covered, then the posts kick in, and then it's vice versa. But I said, we played some tough basketball. We gave them at least, I said, I want to be competitive. We were competitive, and that's what we walked out of there. And I said, we can play with them, you can play with anybody. So.
Well, tell us about your staff for this year.
So my assistant coach is Tiana Voda, who was the head JV coach last year. We do not have a freshman team this year, so our freshman team coach, Olivia Burrows, moved up, and she has the JV this year. And then we have many people in our program that come in and help out when we need. Troy Bargander has volunteered, and Katie Wojcik has come in, and Greg Belter will be there. So it takes a village. It takes a village to get us ready, and the basketball is a long season with a crazy schedule and where you're playing 3 games a week sometimes. So we're lucky to have people that come in and help us out as well.
Have you seen improvement in your ball club from day 1 of practice to today?
We've seen a big upswing, and every day it's just little things that we're making improvements on. And I said, it's exciting as a coach. This is my 25th year, so I've been here a long time, and it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge for me. It's a good challenge for them, and I spent a lot of years in JV, and that's the one thing I loved about JV was the continuous upswing, and that's what we have right now. So I don't even think we'll hit our peak this year. I think we've got a long way to go before we hit that ceiling.
Well, Tammie, thanks for coming by, and you're playing Prentice, I believe, on Friday night?
Yes, we are the early show on Friday night, 5:30 against Prentice, so we're excited about that.
Well, good luck in that ball game throughout the season. Stratford Tiger girls basketball coach Tammie Christopherson with us.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.